Now the question becomes, if I want to raise some funding, what is the right way for me to go? And we developed a little model that can walk potential fundraisers through the options through a few critical questions. This is also published in our coming book, Advances in Crowdfunding Research and Practice, and that's available from 2020. But to the model, the first question.
So here, just to let you know that you can actually find the link to the book below in the video description.
So how do we choose the right model for us? The first question you need to ask is, how much money do I need? Different countries have different thresholds. We are, for example, based in Norway, and here the threshold can be around 500,000 crowns or 50,000 euros. If you need to raise less than 50,000 euros or $50,000, then you should go through you go with the model through the small sum arrow. If you need more than that, you would probably go through the larger sum arrow. If you opt for a smaller sum, then the question becomes, are you raising the funds for a commercial concept? If it's not a commercial concept, then the question becomes, are you going to offer tangible outcomes? Will they receive products or services from what you do? If they won't, then you probably can go for a donation model. If you will offer tangible outcomes, but this still goes to a social or charitable cause, for example, you offer caps or t-shirts or stickers or whatever this may be, but this is for a good cause, then you can go for what we call a mixed donation and reward. However, if your concept is commercial, basically meaning somebody is going to make money from this, then you should go for a reward if the end product or service is aimed at consumers. But if it aims at businesses or government, then you should opt for equity, even if the sum is still relatively small. Simply because reward crowdfunding is more fitting or better tailored to attract end customers rather than large organizations. Going back, if you need a relatively large sum, then we're starting to talk about investments. And then, when we talk about investments, we are worried about the financial return prospects. If the risk is relatively low, and you are quite sure that you will have the relevant income flow within reasonable time, then it's probably better to go to peer-to-peer business loans. You don't need to sell an ownership stake in the business. However, if the risk is higher and the timing and the scale of the expected future income or revenues is unclear, then it's probably better to go for an equity campaign. So that's how you choose the best model for your fundraiser. Again, it really depends case by case and location by location, and we've seen much higher sums or lower sums achieved by either model, but this is the general case or the general advice that we can provide to guide you in your decision. Very limited figures are published about this, but at least from a report from 2016, we have a little idea of what's the average sum that can be raised by the different models. So in Europe, in 2016, we see that equity-based campaigns, for example, on average, managed to raise 300,000 euros. Business peer-to-peer lending raised around 110,000 euros. Property lending, closer to 120,000 euros. Reward-based, on the other hand, what we know as the Kickstarter model, or probably most famous model, actually on average only raises 15,000 euros, and on the donation side, it's 4,600 euros on average. Again, this can change and probably will change with time, but still gives you a direction of what is reasonable to expect. So when you set your target goals, you know that you are at least within or close to the average, below or above it.